Okay. Hello, hello. Looks like we're on. Okay. So this is Paul here at Freight Connect. And it's been a while since, I guess a week maybe, since I've been on and completed my 30 days, which was great. And I had planned on coming on sooner and then just kind of going through some things that I actually did over that 30-day period. And come to find out, I've done a lot. I did a lot of stuff. And if anything, it was setting the foundation for the next 30 days, really working on things and putting things in place. Not necessarily developing systems, but I think that that is the key thing to achieving anything, that you have a system in order to achieve that, what it is that you want to achieve. And so I've been doing a lot of things and trying to figure out, how is what I want to accomplish possible, and how can I take it forward, move it forward. And so in doing all that, I have figured out that the things that I want to do are possible, but how do I take it forward, right? How do I move it forward? So I need systems in place, meaning routines, you know, how does what I want to do get put out there? How does it go from point A to point B to point C to point D? How does that happen? And it has to be, for me, something that can be repeatable. And so the thing is that it doesn't matter what it is you're doing. If you have a system in place, that is going to help you. That is most important. That's one of the most important things, is to have systems in place. So as for your trucking company, it is totally advantageous and required for you to have things in place, a system in place, so that you're able to get through 30 days, get through a month for your company, right? In order for you to get through a week with your company, day to day, have systems in place. There's something that you do day one, day two, day three, day four, day five, day 6 or 7. You review the previous week, and you continually think about how can we improve. And it doesn't mean that it's going to be something so revolutionary that it really is impossible to do. There's little things that you can do within your business to help you advance, right? But there has to be that review. So when you review, do you see, I'll say it, chaos? Do you see that things are all over the place? I see that at times for me, right? I can look at my computer screen and say, that looks chaotic. I've got 1,000 windows open, and I've got, different things going on. I have like 2 windows on one screen. Some windows I've got several more. And yeah, it looks, and then I could start clicking them off and saying, I don't need this. I don't need this. As a matter of fact, this has been up for the past 5 days and I've not touched it, or 30 days and I've not touched it, and just start clicking all of it off and just totally forget about it. But you've got to have a system or systems in place that is going to help you advance, because when it's chaotic like this, you can get focused on the wrong thing. That then takes you away from what it is you need to be focused on. And at times that can, you can delay it, and then you forget. You forget what you're supposed to do, how you're supposed to do it, or the information, or whatever it is. Technology is super great, putting things in place where you're able to intake or actually have the information, then be able to quickly put it wherever it needs to go. Of course, weekly, monthly, doing your reports, making sure you're staying on top of those. If an audit was to be conducted, what kind of situation are you in? I remember a while ago, and I think I've mentioned it before, when I was attending this church, and I was a part of the finance committee, and it was very hard for us to, when a meeting was needed, to say a quarterly meeting, a business meeting, or whatever meeting we might have where finances was a part of that, for us to get all that information together, that was a challenge for us. And the reason being is because we did not have a system. We just didn't have things in order, right? So it would take us even a month to say, okay, we feel confident, let's have the meeting. It could take that long. And I was like, all right, there's got to be a better way. And back then, I didn't know who was having that issue or not. In regards to churches, but I would imagine now that a lot of churches did have that issue, and probably today as well. But I simply created an allocation calculator, I guess you could call it, budgeting or whatever you want to call it. But the point was that when something came in, it was very easy. We had to put it somewhere, and it was very easy for us to put it in. But the idea behind that was, here it is. We touch it one time and it goes everywhere it's supposed to go. It gets allocated everywhere it's supposed to go. And we're able to see, and we had limits and everything like that, that was actually set up on the Excel sheet. So we knew, and then, I mean, at any rate, it was a really good system. And it was so good that when we had meetings, someone could say, hey, we need a meeting today. Okay. We were able to gather everything, all the documentation, all the paperwork, pretty much at the click of a button. It gave us all the information we needed. And that was incredibly relieving, So within your business, to be able to go to something and touch it one time, I'm sure I remember back in the day, before so much extra technology, that was the thing. How many times do you touch a thing on your desk? A sheet, a piece of paper, something that needed to be filed, several times. And that's wasted opportunity for production. That's totally not efficient, right? So being able to look at your business, to be able to assess and say, whether you take a 30-day or a week or whatever, and look at your business, say, okay, I see where I'm at. Now I need to start doing something about it. That's where I'm at. So over a 30-day period, and happy Valentine's Day to everyone. Don't want to miss that. So hope you guys are enjoying your Valentine, whether you're on the road, whether you're not. You don't have to have a significant other, I don't think, to celebrate Valentine's, but I guess you could wish it to your dog if you wanted to. But if you love your dog, but happy Valentine's. So hope everyone enjoys the day. It's almost over, but still time. So at any rate, so if you look at your business and be able to say, all right, here's where I'm at, here's where I want to be. And then you start doing that. You start working towards that. Put some time aside to do that, right? And once you do it, make it a part of your business. Do not change it. You might have to revisit it and make sure it's the most efficient way to do what you need to do. But as long as it's getting the job done, and it could be saving you time, save you money, save you headaches, save you stress, help with routines, or not routines, but relationships, develop better relationships, give you more time to do other things, maybe even sleep, to hang out with good people. And those things, two things I mentioned, are productive. They contribute to production. So in your business, if you're new in trucking, you're going to need to really work really hard, there in the beginning. And that's with anything, right? Any business. So, and this is not, obviously trucking is not for the faint of heart. This is it's very rewarding in the end that, man, this is what I have done and what I have accomplished and what I'm capable of. I think it's definitely a great teacher, And so, but we want to survive in this business, and we want to be able to move forward and do all the things that we want to do in and out of the business. So I would say definitely look at that and, look and see what your routines look like. What are they accomplishing? What systems do you have in place? It can make life so much easier, but the systems have to produce what you need them to produce. Okay. Other than that, I did do a run tonight, and I think it was probably the first run that I had done since the end of the 30 days. I didn't mean to stop, but I just got absorbed with some things, and I really want to share it with you all, and it's a lot. I might post. I'm going to post. I don't know if you guys know what P.O.C is, which is one of the operational principles here at Freight Connect that we really stress upon, and that's something that we teach early on. That's very foundational. So that's being persistent, being optimistic, and being consistent. Okay. So those things will fight off a lot of things, just those three things right there. And that's all about mindset, primarily about mindset. Okay. There's a lot of things that go on in this business. I say before you get into it, if you were learning the business before you got into it, you're good. And I'm not going to say you're good, but I'll say that definitely gives you a heads up or a head up, a leg up on a lot of people, whether you have opportunity or not. Even if you don't have your authority prior to getting it, you can build relationships, and by the time you get in it, you've got clients. That can happen. It has happened. I've talked to many people where that has happened, and they didn't realize that that was a good way of doing it. But some of them were like, my buddy was saying this and that, and if I had a truck, I could help him out, and it started from there. But yeah, so once you do get a truck, and a lot of people start to realize, I didn't know that it was like this, right? Start learning, unfortunately. But at that point, it's kind of like this. You're behind the 8 ball, right? You got to speed it up to get caught up. And people have done it, I'm not saying they haven't, but it's like, why? Why do it that way if that's not the way you have to do it? But if you have, it's like coming in to run a race, right? And then, I don't know, maybe you find out it's a different kind of track. You didn't find that out until, you got there. And so now you got to scramble around and maybe figure out how I'm going to get the right shoes, or how am I going to make these shoes work, in this race. And as you're running, and then you're behind, and then you got to get caught up. And how am I going to do that? How am I going to change these shoes when I'm in stride? So there's things, then we start to cut corners, unfortunately. And then things go from there. And that's just how we start to know trucking, right? Instead of knowing it in a way that, all right, here's where I want to be. Here's where I'm at. Here are the things that I need to do to get me there. And here's the reality of it all. And then let me prepare, whether it's have the right amount of reserves in my bank already, or whether it is to understand in regards to the hiring, which maybe in the beginning it's just you, which would be good, just to be in the truck for a year or two first before you start venturing out like that. But there are some people that do it, right off the bat. They've got somebody that's going to drive, and they've not gotten in the truck or spent a lot of time in the truck. They wanted to stay over here and do this operational stuff. And I'm not saying one way or another is that if that's good or bad, it's just an observation. And but at any rate, so once you get into this systems mindset. So I brought all that up because I do have a recording that I'm going to put out. And as far as the recording goes, it's only about 2 minutes or so. It's an introduction to P.O.C, but I'll put that here probably in the next 5 minutes, where you can actually click on it. I think you'll be able to listen to it from here, I think. But I'll see if that works. So at any rate, if you want to reach out to me, you can. This is Paul at Freight Connect. I'm at, you can reach me direct at 816-703-8431. Again, 816-703-8431. And my email address, you can reach me at, we'll go with paul.k@fr8connect.com. paul.k@fr8connect.com. And then also you can go, got a couple of websites, but just Freight Connect will be fine. www.fr8connect. And yeah, there's a lot of things that we got working. So I'll let you guys know as time goes on. But I'll put that out there that hopefully I can do that. So you can hear it. I'm sure I can. I'll figure it out. Okay, well, that's it. All right. Well, I hope that you guys have a super into your Valentine's Day and a great Sunday. So a great weekend, and then the Monday. We'll be here before we know it. All right. So have a good evening. Happy Valentine's Day, and God bless.